To show you guys this keyword research agent that I've built. This is again an extension of the software I did last year, trying to replicate the keyword research system here. Here's the agent. So what it does is that it researches the keywords and also prepare topic clusters. It's a two-part system. This part does the keyword research here, and this part here prepares the clusters. What you get in the end, here are the keywords that was researched in the AI SEO niche, and these are the clusters that was generated. Let me just drag the type to the front here. So you have pillars and sub pages. This is a pillar article, and these are the sub pages. You can filter on that. This is an example here. That's the pillar over there, AI powered SEO strategies and top AI SEO tool, Jasper SEO. The better the model that you're using, the better the clustering is. So that's the output that you get. Let me just quickly demo this to you. This is your topic keyword research Google Sheet, your keyword bank database. So I have to put a seed keyword in, and I have to set the status to keyword research. Let me just run it. It should do the keyword research here. This is getting the volumes, search volumes and monthly search volumes, competition, etc. This part here uses Google Ads API. You can use other APIs like data for SEO. The keyword is marked as done, and then it finds new keywords which are ready to be researched further. If I keep pressing this, it will find more and more keywords. Let's execute it one more. If you want, you can do all the 3 runs in one go, but I find this more controllable from my end because I can review this sheet in the middle. Those are done and new keywords are found. I don't want it to run automatically all the time because of this. Like, it pulls in a bunch of random keywords that people make by mistake, or I don't know who is doing this, kids, n8n. So I can manually remove this. The AI later will not process these things anyway, but I just like to keep these clean without making the agent very complicated. And I think I'll do once more. Yeah, if I do once more, that will be done. Proper relationships engine math, we don't need that either. If I do it once more, it will be done. I guess you can do it automatically if you prefer that. Everything is done now. So now we have all the related keywords related to n8n. I thought it would be much more, but now I can run the second part here that will create these clusters. So if I think I'm using GPT 4.1 mini. I think the reasoning models work better. DeepSeek is not that great for this. Gemini, I haven't tried it out yet. Let's see if it works. It doesn't work for me for some reason. Yesterday when I checked with 2.5 Flash Preview, Pro Preview, it's an experimental one, right? Thought the experimental ones were free. Let's do the experimental one and see. I still do have Open Router some credits, I think. $10 maybe. Yeah, I do about have 11. Looks like it's working. Yesterday it wasn't working. Maybe high demand or something. I don't know. Let's see. I haven't tested it with that Pro Gemini models yet. This is the first time I'm testing it. It's definitely slow. All right, before this, let me show you the clustering mechanism. It is actually working. For some reason, my front end wasn't getting updated. n8n front end. Let's do that again. You will have created the keyword database after this, and you have a niches sheet here. Next thing that you would do is you can enter your niche here. For example, in our case is n8n, and cluster. It will read from the topic keyword research, and then it will cluster it based on the keywords present. I can give. So if you have a very broad keywords list for a broader niche, you can create sub niche and their clusters in them, if that makes sense. So if you have an SEO niche and then I have AI SEO as a sub niche, I can put it like AI SEO, and then it will pick up all the keywords present and qualify the keywords related to this niche and create clusters around that niche and also the keywords present in the topic research, if that makes sense. You have to put the status cluster status there, and let me run this again. Looks like that's working. For some reason, it shows it being stuck there, but it's actually proceeding. I wonder why it's not actually showing it though. Enter this Google Sheet. Are my credits going down? Is it free or not? I think Gemini through Open Router is rate limited heavily. Okay, that first batch seems to have been done. So that's the pillar, and then n8n automation tutorial and workflow. That is another pillar. And then you have API guide, ETL backup, then integrations, sales base row. So that's another pillar over there. n8n hosting is one pillar, and then you have Docker, DigitalOcean, Kubernetes under that, and you have primary keywords to target and secondary keywords to target for the pillar. Let's select a pillar. Maybe select n8n integrations. Clear n8n integrations. See, we have 4 sub pages for that pillar. Yeah, and then you get all the primary keywords, Salesforce, and then you have connect to n8n, the other keywords that you have to target, and also content focus, guide users connecting n8n, Salesforce, etc. This will be helpful when it comes time to actually create the document, the article, and you have a ranking priority here, specific B2B integration interest with recent growth 390 search volume. So it actually goes through the search volume and the trends, etc. in the data provided and prioritizes these sub pages. You have a whole lot of content articles that you can create, which you can use to further create content using our social media agent system. All of the agents that I've built are in the description. Check it out, and also check out the school community. I am dropping all these agents there. Configuring an n8n database, running self-hosted on Microsoft Azure using GraphQL with n8n. I think it's pretty good. Again, the better the model, the better the results are. The niche is also recorded here. That is the whole clustering system. All right, once done, the niche will be marked as done. I'm just going to mark it by manually for now. But let's have I think it's finished. The whole part is finished here. We have about 111 articles. Again, the model is not that great. Look at this title, adding n8n IO, second keyword to what is n8n. So I'm going to rerun it with a better model and see, let's see if that improves it. Oh, I don't want to delete that. I'm just going to use 4.14.1 mini. I'll just run it partially and see what happens. I think there is some issue with my local installation where it doesn't, oh, maybe it's just too fast. I missed it. It's probably it. So it is actually doing that. The comprehensive guide to n8n automation and workflows, n8n automation workflows, backup and security, n8n extensions, code integration. So now you have that. Let me just run through 4.1 as well. I think it's more expensive. Let me do O4 mini. Stop that. Let's duplicate that. If we want to refer to it, let's delete these. The latency is very high there because it's a reasoning model. We'll just do the first batch and then we will run with 4.1 model. It looks like this one was free though. The Gemini model through OpenRouter, the experimental model, but it was very slow. This is the reasoning model. So comprehensive guide to n8n automation and workflows, and then we have n8n automation, n8n workflows as these keywords. We have this pillar provides an expert overview and deep dive into n8n automation capabilities. Ranking priority high. Why was it ranked high? Keywords show strong historic and recent volume growth, especially n8 and n8n workflow spiking significantly in 2025. Rising interest in automation basics with consistent growth in n8n automation keyword volume. Which one is that? So let's just try to do high priority ones and go through the reasoning. Steady search volume and growing interest in integrations critical to n8n users to expand automation potential. Strong search volume spike in n8n pricing and hosting. Significant volume growth with clear transactional user intent. Understanding cloud. These probably would be good pages for some sort of affiliate traffic. So let's go through the system. So we have a schedule trigger here. We can set it to run any time of the day. Just make sure that runs 3 times before, at least before the clustering runs. So maybe you can put it as 3 times during the day and this to be run at midnight, so that this is, you can do further research, but the clustering will take place based on whatever is available in the keyword database. For the process to kick off, as I said, you need to have a seed keyword, topic keyword research. The status needs to be keyword research. So if you run that, that will pick up the first row. When you start the run first, it will not have the average volume, etc. It will just pick that up, and that will be like this: keyword research n8n, and then you go into a loop. For example, if you have like multiple keywords here to be researched, it will pick up 20 at a time. That is what that loop portion is. This is a loop node, loop split in batches, and we are giving 20 at a time. And then after that, we are going to call the Google Ads Keywords Planner API to get the search volume. Let me duplicate this 20 times, and then if I test that again, you have 20 items in the loop branch. Those are separate items. We need that in a single list. For that, we use an aggregate node, and in that, if we have 20 items here, and the output, it will be converted into one single item. So you can see here 20 items into one item. So it will be all the different keywords. But when we run the first time, we won't have all the 20 items. We'll only have just that one thing. Let's that's that here. Then once that is done, the keyword research portion. This is the Google Ads API. You can also use a service called Data for SEO. This is much more useful to do complex backlink analysis and stuff like that, which that data is not available through Google Ads API. This is just for good for keyword research though, more up to date data. All the documentation are in the school community. I'm preparing the data for SEO. That's the API. And you have the documentation here. We are using, you can use the keywords data API overview and Google Ads, or I think they internally call Google Ads API again. Keywords for the site, keywords for keywords, ad traffic, Google Trends Explorer. So this is the keyword API for data for SEO. When you sign up, you get $1 or something, but it's cheap. So you can play around with it. For me though, I'm using Google Ads API. For this is not as straightforward because you need to have a service account, Google Ads Manager account as well. So the process is, I don't think maybe you don't need the service account. Yeah, but you definitely need the Google Ads Manager account where you manage other people's Google Ads dashboards accounts. So it's like an Ads Manager account to manage other accounts. So you need to create that one over here. And then you need to add just go through the steps here and sign into your Google Ads account, search for API Center. That is, if you'd like to know, this will work only if you have a manager account. You will have an option for API Center. That will be in API Center, admin API Center. Once you have the manager account set up, there you can create a developer token, and then you use that developer token along with your API key, which you create using Google Cloud Console after adding Google Ads API, which I'm not going into detail in this video. Post application token status, search for my Google Cloud Console integration video for that to know how to, or look up on Google. People have talked about it, how to integrate your Google Cloud, how to create a API in Google Cloud Console, etc. And then once apply for access APIs, after selecting the API Center, complete the API access form. I don't think it takes a long time to process it because you're not going for the extensive review process. You're just creating a test access submission, but you do need privacy policy, etc., and Google your email ID for this to work. Yeah, you do need API contact email. API compliance team may need to reach out, but the process is pretty much automatic. There's no human intervention there, so it's nothing complicated. And after that, you will need to come to keyword research. This is an HTTP request node. In that, you have to create a new credential, and then you enter your client ID and client secret and the developer token here. But for some reason, I don't know why, I have to actually pass the developer token in the header parameters like this as well. Post request here, that's the URL that you have to give. If you want detailed instructions, check out my school community. This is the body of the JSON to be sent in that post request, and you are getting all the keywords and you're joining it here. It will be joined like comma separator values and sent with keywords. But if that is too much, setting up Google Ads API and stuff like that, you simply, very easy, sign up for data for SEO, and pretty much what you do, generate a data for SEO API access key, and then replace this with data for SEO. Just make sure that you get monthly search volume and the related keywords. You probably will have to change the mapping here because the results will be different from that API. And then you have extract keywords from results. Let's spin all this. And the keyword research will come up back with the related keywords for that seed keyword. And then that is one single object, and all the keywords are inside that. But we need all the keywords separated out into separate records. So that's what we are doing with extract keywords from result. This is a split node, and we are simply putting the key of the response from the API call, and we are putting that into a destination field called keywords. And as you can see, this one result has now been converted into 128 items. So each item is a keyword. This is the second item. It has all the monthly searches, etc. This is how it knows whether something is trending or not when the AI agent runs. Stuff like that. And once that is executed, we are saving, mapping all the keywords to a Google Sheet node here, which is simply a Google Sheet node. Enter the credentials and select append update row, and we are matching on keywords, so we don't add duplicates. For when we are doing keyword research, we don't need any duplicate stored. That's why we are appending or updating. And when updating, it use that keyword to match to see if a record exists. And if it exists, it will update that record. Otherwise, it will append a new record. And then we are just simply mapping from here, keyword, we go to schema, and just simply mapping everything text. Just have to drag and drop here, text, average monthly searches, competition, etc. And once that is mapped, let me just pin that node so that we don't run it again, pin that as well, and then test this step. Now we have all these related keywords pulled by the API. And next is a wait node for about 1 second, I think, because there's a rate limit on Google Ads API. You can't continuously send requests one after another. You have to, I think they allow 5 requests per second. I don't know. There is a rate limit. I'm just going to disable it for now, and let me pin that so that doesn't get executed again. And after that, we need to connect this as well. That portion is done, and we have a merge node. So the keyword research is after the keyword research is done, we need to set the seed keyword. Let me just delete this because we need this to be set to done. So that is the first step here. If I open that and test step, that will be set as done. And you have a bunch of keywords here which doesn't have any status after that. And we need to set this to keyword research so that keyword research will kick off for that as well. Those newly discovered so that the keyword research will kick off for those newly discovered keywords as well. And so at this point, we have 896 keywords coming out there. For some reason, the count seems a little bit off. It's only 100 and something. We've been running multiple times, that's why. But we are adding a limit node after that, which is just this, because we just want the next part to run just only once. So if we have all the keywords passed in through, it will run 137 times or something like that. We don't want that, so we're just limiting it to 1, and we are reading all the keywords again and filtering only the keywords that has an empty status, which will be these keywords here. And we are using another keyword Google Sheet node, and we are doing an update row action, and we are matching on the keyword, and we are setting the status to keyword research. So once you run through all of that, we pin that, and let me execute that in full. Because we have pinned all those nodes, they won't be executed again, but now this portion has been executed. Now you should see all these have been changed to keyword research. Let me just pin all that and enable this and unpin. Okay, and run it again, and I'm going to delete it again. All right, that's done now, and I'm going to run it again. So the keyword discovery process is decoupled from the clustering process. So this can happen in the background, and the clusters can be updated as time goes through. Then you refer to the clusters and update your articles on your website or in your client's website. That's the idea. So that's all done. And maybe one more time to make it complete. Right, all of that is done. Let's run the next thing here. Move on to clusters. Let's clear that. We have to make sure the niche is cluster, status is cluster. That is correct. The first one in the clustering system is again a schedule trigger. Make sure this runs after at least a few runs of the keyword clustering. Maybe you can run it earlier in the day, the keyword discovery, and this one later in the day. Or you can manually trigger it, add a form hook to it, add a form to it and manually trigger it, or hook it up to Telegram or whatever, whichever is convenient for you. And here, the first thing that we are going to do is to read from the niche database. So the first node is a Google Sheet node again, and we are reading from a list, content calendar, and that's the document, and that's the worksheet. And we are only getting the records with the status of cluster and returning only the first matching row, which would be in our case the cluster. This will match, and the next rows will not be read. It will stop at the first row. That's what this means, return only first matching row. And as you can see, it has returned the first matching row. And if I connect that, then so read all keywords for clustering. This is a Google Sheet node again from content calendar, whichever Google Sheet as you are using. Select from list. Once you add your Google account, this will automatically be populated. So as you can see, I have different sheets here. You select the keyword database sheet here. For us, it is this which we've been working on, topic keyword research. And that is that node. And then we go to a filter node. This is discard all the keywords without any search average monthly searches recorded. So if you see here, we have this average monthly, the historical, no, not this one, the average monthly search volume here. If this is 0, that won't be picked up. That's what my condition is. You can change that to any other condition. Sometimes maybe even if it's 0, it might be good to write about something to establish topical authority. And in those cases, you can just simply disable the filter. And once that is done, we have a set. Let's execute that. We are simply taking all the results into putting into a results object. So this is a JSON output. We're putting the entire JSON object into a specific key. So just for maintaining it a little bit better. And we have a limit here. This is, I have set it as 1,000 at a time, but this is just me testing. You can entirely disable it entirely if you want. No problem at all. Depending on your resource usage consumption, you can limit it. Now all the data for the clustering is prepared. We are entering a loop of 20 batches, 20 records per loop run. So for all those 163 items, 20 will be processed at a time. Let's see if we can test this step. Now we have 20 items in the loop branch. You cannot pin that, but I can pin this. I can pin this. Now that 20 items again will be aggregated into, we don't want it as 20 items. We need it into one single list. That's what this aggregation field does, node does. It takes all the fields to aggregate results. So in our case, this results object, and will be, when you test it, instead of having 20 items, it will be just one item. Everything will be aggregated into one item. And after that, we have a merge node, and we have this extra bit here, which I will briefly tell you what it is. After that, it reads from the Google Sheets again, content calendar, but from the clusters worksheet, which is our clusters worksheet here. At the very start, there won't be anything, so it doesn't really matter at the very first loop run. What it does is it reads all the clusters with the pillars and pass to the next step in agent. It tells the agent that here's the already created pillars and here's a bunch of keywords. Look at these keywords and search volumes and create clusters of pillars and subpages. And also refer to the already created clusters, pillars, all that already exist, and see if the new keyword aligns with any of the existing pillars. If it doesn't align with any of the existing pillars, create a new pillar. So that's why we are reading all the existing pillars that we might have created previously and reading that as well before executing the clustering agent. We are passing that as well into the cluster agent. That is this bit. So let me just test that step. So now we have that is coming from this branch over here, and you have the pillars, which is empty because we don't have any pillars created yet. So let me just pin that as well, merge node pin, and now clustering agent. The prompt will be in our school, the full prompt. We have a system prompt and a user prompt. This is an advanced AI node, AI agent node, this one here, and you attach a model to it. We have 4.1 mini running. So the prompt is a long prompt. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will add a page here for clustering agent prompt. So the prompt is really, you're an expert SEO strategist starts with creating a comprehensive topic clustering strategy for EEAT and analyze the provided keywords, including their average search volume, difficulty, historical search volume, etc., to identify thematic groups based on user intent, informational, transactional, navigational, evaluate historical search data volume, trends to prioritize keywords for ranking potential. And then I have a bunch of rules. Use SERP, autocomplete, and extract tools if available. So that is this part. I do have some SERP tools here. I didn't add this because it'll take a little bit more time when running. But if you want, you can add these tools as well. These are I have covered this in my previous videos. These are SERP tools. You can go to serper.dev and get a key. You have 2,500 free queries for new sites, and this is just a Google search tool, and this one is an autocomplete tool. These ones pull in data whenever for example, if I do n8n, it will pull up all these stuff. basically. That's the autocomplete tool, and this will actually visit the pages to see how we should structure the content, etc. But in our case, I think SERP tool is probably the most valuable one for this. We'll see. Let me just run the clustering agent. The niche is not getting picked up. Okay, this is wrong. That's why. Okay, let me just try running that. Test that step. Let's see if he uses the SERP tool. It might not use the SERP tool. You don't really need them at this stage. Oh, it is using the SERP tool. You might get better clustering. So it knows what kind of pages actually appear already on the for current results page in Google. Yeah, it takes a while if you have tools added here. It's probably better to add tools later. And then the next step is once the agent runs, we have this output from the clustering agent. We are converting that into, which is a string here. We are converting that into, let me just pin this, converting that into an object. This is a set node, and you basically drag this one here and select the type to object, and then it will convert that string to object. You also select manual mapping here, and then test it. Now it is an object we can inspect. So we have so we have a pillar page, multiple pillar pages here. Now we have to write this to a Google Sheet. Now this is just one item from this output. We have to split it out into records, individual records. So we have to get all the strategy objects out of it. So this is what this is, a split out node, and we are just using output strategy. Yeah, just drag and drop this here and then include no other fields. And I am going to pin this and test this step. You will get one converted into 18 items. 2 keywords. It's a cluster, so it's not a one-to-one relationship. One page might target multiple keywords. So once you have that, then there's a next Google Sheet node. Not really sure why okay. Why are these appearing red? Did it make a mistake? Oh yeah, it did make a mistake. That is done. Now we are simply mapping the data from the split out node into the Google Sheets column that we have: niche, title, type, URL, all those things up here. Once you select append or update row and select the Google Sheet and the clusters page where you have to write all the pillar and sub pages, select from list. Once you add the credentials again, we'll be able to select it like this. And the URL is the unique identifier, and we are using URL to match, and you simply drag and drop these things, niche, title, etc. for the mapping. And we're taking the niche from the very first node, which is this node here, niche node, which we called in the beginning, and so that we can filter on that later. Let's simply test this step, and that is that. Now we have the first set of pillars and sub pages. We have the niche set, comprehensive guide, ultimate workflow automation platform. So primary keywords, secondary keywords. Looks good. We have one pillar, and pretty much everything else it has. Actually, the thing is, right, I recommend you not using these tools here. Because the context gets too long, it confuses the model, or use a bigger model. Make sure you have a bigger context window for this model. Maybe Google Gemini will work nicely. So let's not use that and run the unpin. It didn't work correctly. So let's test until. So now we have actually what we need: multiple pillars and multiple sub pages. Finally, we need to update the status of this record here to know that it's been done. So let's test that. It's again a Google Sheet node. All we are doing is using that niche that we are currently processing and mark the status to done. We are reading from the niches sheet from this particular Google Sheet content calendar, and let's test that step. Now that is done. That is marked as done. So that marks the clustering process. And we have the clusters here. So that's the whole system, and all the links for this particular whole workflow will also be on my Gumroad. If you want to do it on your own, feel free to replicate the exact system that we have here. Let me just show, the prompts are in my school community, but let me just show you here as well, so that you can copy paste it. If you don't want to join the school, let me just scroll through it, and you can read it. Basically pause it, take a screenshot or whatever, ask ChatGPT. So that's basically it. I have a growing school community. It's slow but steady, but we have a bunch of agent builds already so far. POV, long form article writer, lead generation, which sends cold emails, and social media for LinkedIn, all that, Instagram, Reels, stuff like that. This is AI generated history videos, shorts, for video YouTube automation. And yeah, some good automation agent builds here. Check it out. All of the links for all the workflows are available in the description. And like the video, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Oh, and I have a free Discord which you might want to check out.